talk about quantum at Behavox, we know that there's the added benefit of having an archive. And likewise, when you have intelligent archive, you have the added benefit of using quantum. How do you find that both relate to each other, and how is that connection between the two working?
Well, I think, Farine, I think there's two ways of looking at that question, right? So first of all, there's a technical way. So technically speaking, the data flows through the mechanism, the engine that is actually the archive anyway. So the archive does a lot of the preparatory work on the data, on the messages before it gets to quantum. You then do whatever it is you do in quantum, which is basically identify bad conduct, manage those investigations, so forth. And then that then comes back into the archive. So in the archive, from a technical point of view, you've got that pipeline in and then you've got the pipeline back out again. So technically that's how it works. That's only of interest to people in IT. So for people who are actually interested in compliance, how it works is the following. Firstly, you share costs because all that underlying infrastructure for surveillance, for quantum, is actually also working for the archive. So the minute you enrich any message, you capture any message, you do any of that, it's ready for the archive as well. So that's great. So that helps reduce cost. It also means you've got one source of data, so a single source of truth, really, really important. In terms of how you work with the data is all prepped really in the pipeline for the archive. It goes into quantum, you will do your work there. All of the activities you do are then stored and available in the archive. So now you've got your complete history available to you in a unified environment. So really it's 1 + 1 = 3. You of course then also get business strategic benefits, which is one supplier, for set and forget piece of IT, same performance everywhere. And then you get the magic that we do. So they're all things we do to make you compliant or enable you to be compliant. The magic, of course, is on top of that, we built all this on AI, all right? And there's a whole story, I know we've covered it before, and I'm sure we'll cover it again, about we are built on AI. And that has fundamental impacts in terms of what you can do, how you can do it, how performant it is. But more importantly, what you're going to see as this year progresses and into early next year is we're taking more and more structured data. So, it's not a secret. We are going to be taking trade alerts, trade data, for example, into this environment. That won't be directly supervised by quantum. But when that trade alert data comes in, it's going to be combined with whatever communications and anything that was done in quantum relative to that will be there. So there might have been some communications that look suspicious. That'll be combined with the actual suspicious trading. So you've now got two red flags. And of course, the archives case management will manage all of that. You can then present all that back and that'll be your trade reconstruction. So more and more will happen in the archive. The archive is kind of the underlying mixing pot for our whole ecosystem because everything relies on the data. But these tools, it's such a vibrant, it's so tantalizingly close. And it's such a fantastic vision for the future. And some that people have tried before. But I think the thing is we actually have the technology now that can do it, both technically perform it, but do it at scale. So there are some people who can tell a good story about this sort of thing, but ask them to do it for a global bank, 250,000, 350,000 employees, and of course it just falls to bits. And we've got proof at scale. I think that's going to make the real difference.
Brilliant.
Cool.